Hello everyone and welcome back to Satisfactory, where last time we completely automated the basic steel production and began to mess around with some trucks. However though, today we're going to be bringing some freedom to massage to ABB with some oil processing. So we can start slapping stuff in here and we can bring some freedom to these lands.
Milestone reached. Crude oil can now be extracted and refined to produce various industrially beneficial parts. The byproducts of these processes will require careful management, but a capable pioneer such as yourself surely understands that. To improve efficiency, pipelines can now be optimized with valves to limit and balance their throughput. These were initially left out because Fixit did not want to overwhelm pioneers with complex pipeline management, but they have since been re-added after my impassioned defense of your capabilities.
Thanks, Ada, I guess. But yeah, now we got the refinery, one of the most lucrative buildings in the game. Can be annoying, can be good. However, scanning some hard drives is what we're going to be starting next. But yeah, we got this, and then we got the refinery. So, I think it would be a good idea if we head off to get some oil processing started. Alright, so heading over to here on the Gold Coast, we have some oil and also some friends. Let's quickly remove them because we don't need friends, they lower efficiency. And there we go, we pick up the friends loot because, yeah. And we can then place down an oil extractor. So this, because it is a normal node, will extract 120 crude oil per minute, fully overclock it 300, which is, you know, basic Mark 1 pipe. So we can bring power over here. I'll quickly set up a big pad. Alright, we've made a pad, and then with this we can start placing down refineries. So we're going to only be using basic recipes. So we can make plastic, which takes 30 crude oil and makes 20 plastic and 10 heavy oil residue. And we'll also make this, some rubber, which is 30 again, and then 20 rubber, but then 20 heavy oil residue. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 5 machines making plastic and 5 machines making rubber. So that will be the total 300 crude oil being used up. So that's the 5 plastic machines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in terms of heavy oil residue, you know, that will be pretty much, I think, 150. Yeah. Hold on. I'm just making these custom swatches. So that one was for heavy oil residue. Well, this one is for heavy oil residue, so we'll just copy that and paste that there. There we go. Select colour, and then this one can be used for fuel, which is a slightly orange colour, like that. Yep, there we go. Right, now we've got water, oil, heavy oil residue, and fuel for now. So then what you do is just right click, pipes, and then any pipes that you build will have that colour. So let me just set up the pipe work, just very basic, because it's just the liquid input for this. Right, done the pipe work, and I've also hooked up the refineries to power and set their recipes. So with the 150 heavy oil residue that we're producing, what we'll do is we'll send 120 to it to like 3 refineries, right, and then produce that amount of petroleum coke, which we'll just put in an awesome sink for now, because obviously this is a temporary setup. And then with the other 30 we'll make 20 fuel per minute, and then we can put that into a packager. I believe we don't have them currently, I don't think. Yeah, no, we don't have them currently. But we can do a few unlocks, get the packager, and then we can have packaged fuel, so we can actually use a jetpack. But yeah, I'll just set this up for now. Yeah, I'll set this up with the other refineries. In addition, alternate recipe has been gotten but that's not any that we want. So we're gonna scan another hard drive. Yep, I'll set up the rest of this oil production then. Alright, I've finished setting it up, more or less. There's still obviously a bit that we need to do, but we need to do some unlocks for that first. So we can connect the power to the oil extractor, and now be extracting 300 cubic meters of oil every single second. Well, no, every single minute. 300 per second is a bit insane. Yeah, this is per second. It's 5 per second, I'm pretty sure, yeah. But yeah, this will begin to fill up with oil. And then we will start producing plastic and rubber and heavy oil residue. Currently that power's looking kind of insane. But we're still under our capacity, so we are chilling. Oh, I forgot to actually do this, but research. So left is overflow. Same with you. Left is also overflow. And now let's see what the has in store for us. Still bad. Another hard drive. But yeah, now that we've got a bit of plastic and rubber, we can go back to the hub and start doing some unlocks. Alright, back at the hub now, and we can unlock fluid packaging, which will be the final thing that we need to unlock before we can finish off the starter setup.
Milestone reached. Avoid the embarrassment of placing liquids in your pockets only for them to spread across your suit. Package and unpackage them with the packager. Packaging fluids allows them to be transported in your inventory, on conveyor belts, and by vehicles. For increased, non-pocket related fluid storage, you can now use the industrial fluid buffer.
Sure thing. Right, and now the next milestone is probably one of these three. Logistics Mark IV is a very nice milestone. We don't need that yet. Neither do we need that. Or that. That is nice. We'll probably do that. Because we do have them. Yeah, we do have that, so we can do that. But currently, we want a jetpack. Alright, the freighter is now back. So we can start loading up the pod with all of the stuff and unlock jetpacks.
Milestone reached. Fixit has granted you the power of flight, provided you have a jetpack and the appropriate fuels. The jetpack refuels automatically while you are standing on a surface, and different fuel types will affect the jetpack's functionality. With this increased versatility, you will no doubt achieve efficiency levels previously unheard of.
You bet. Because now we can fly, so we can zip around super fast. Obviously we've got very limited fuel right now, but you know, we're about to set up something that will allow us to get pretty much infinite fuel, technically. Alright, so what I did is, this is only consuming like 10 plastic per minute, so I just put a splitter and, you know, this will overflow back to here, and there's after the splitter. Got plastic, we got rubber, and then around here we have packaged fuel. So yeah, just producing the 20 per minute that is coming out of here, which is very nice. So we now have jetpack fuel, and we can look in the MAM because another hard drive is finished, and we still haven't got what we want. So we'll research yet another hard drive. Alright, so back at the hub, we can now unlock pretty much whatever we want. Yeah, let's do petroleum power, why not? So we can get petroleum power.
Milestone reached. It is my honor and privilege to inform you that the fuel-powered generator, as well as the industrial fluid buffer, are now available. Due to a lack of gold in your sector, Caterium will serve as a suitable replacement to construct the fuel-powered generator. Your research into this element was valuable. In fact, you in particular are my most valuable pioneer, but don't tell the others I said that, it would be bad for morale.
Oh, thanks, Ada. Right, so we've got the fuel generator now. They produce 250 megawatts rather than 150, but obviously they consume more than what they used to, but that's a fair trade-off. Logistics Mark IV unlocked.
Milestone reached. The transportation of resources can reach new heights of efficiency. With the Mark IV belts and lifts, the truck, but even more importantly, your effort. Handling a large and complicated vehicle like the truck should come easy to a well-trained pioneer such as you. They are an obvious improvement over tractors concerning industrial purposes. Improvements for personal use were not measured.
Okay, but yeah, so conveyor belt Mark IV, and now the truck. Probably won't be using the truck, to be fair. But we've pretty much got everything that we need. We'll just unlock Pipeline Engineering Mark II. But, no. Still nothing. However, first we'll want to research a bit of sulfur, so we need some compacted coal. Need 15 of that. I think I need to go find and grab some sulfur real quick. Alright, so I grabbed some sulfur. However, I've recently discovered that you can't actually handcraft compacted coal for whatever reason. You have to make it in an assembler. Although I guess it is an alternate recipe, so it does sort of make sense. But yeah, we'll just produce some of this real quick. Alright, we got the 15 now, and I believe that's all we needed for the map. Where is it? Sulfur. Yes, Turbofuel. And there we go. We don't need any of these fuels currently.
Turbofuel unlocked. This upgrade to regular fuel is optimal for fuel-powered generators, jetpacks, and fulfilling long-distance trucker fantasies.
Well, I don't think we've got any long-distance trucker fantasies. But we do have some fantasies about continuing to scan hard drives, because, yeah, we really need that. We really do. So if we look at the turbofuel recipe in the refinery, it's somewhat decent. It's a 6:4 ratio, and then that makes 5, so slightly less fuel, but then this has so much a better burn rate that this is really worth it. So, basically, I'll just cycle through all of these hard drives and like unlock all of them, and then we'll see if we get the alternate recipes that we need, and then after that I will explain the plan. Alright, so we just want the final few upgrades. So we want Pipeline Engineering Mark II, and then the final upgrade, we don't need this currently, is
pipelines and pipeline pumps
this.
can now be upgraded to Mark II. They are like Mark I, but better. Pipes seem to be objects of fascination to humans. In fact, there are recorded instances of humans doing nothing but thinking about pipes for hours.
I mean, pipes are pretty cool in Satisfactory. It's a bit weird to do nothing but think about them for hours, but I wouldn't say that they're particularly bad. Especially when you get them in different colours. You know, that makes them good. Alright, and time to unlock trains. Like a soul.
Milestone reached. Trains are excellent for efficiently moving vast quantities of parts. Train logistics can be made more precise and complex with tools found in the railway signaling milestone. I listen to all my pioneers, often when they're not even aware of it. So due to popular demand, I have added a motivational message. Choo-choo mother.
They actually added that. Right, there is a... Oh, I don't remember now. Yeah. So if I... Yeah, so if you hold control, then it like makes the railway straight, even though I'm looking like this, whereas if I let go of control, now it's floppy. But yeah, train's cool, and they also made it so then they're not as painful to set up at this stage of the game, because before you needed computers and stuff, whereas now you don't, which is very nice in my opinion. So it means that you can use trains to get your initial power setup going, and then use stuff, and then like make computers. I think the way that they stipulated it was like you can use trains to aid you in the production of computers, but in this case we're going to be using them to help us with power. Alright, so I have finished researching all the hard drives, and of course first round we didn't get anything that we want, so we're going to rescan these. Oh, I thought that was what we want, but we'll keep this here, because obviously we don't want these to be, like, in the, pull rotation thing. Rescan these. That's fairly good, but we don't want it. Oh, that is very good. I do have plans for this, but we'll keep on going. Nope. That's good, but no. Please, the recycled plastic is good, so is that and that. These two aren't particularly good, no. Please, no. 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 We're gonna have to get more hard drives. It's fine. Right, I'll go on the hard drive one. I won't record all of them, but I'll come back once I've gotten a bunch of hard drives. Alright, so I've gathered up 11 hard drives, so we can continue scanning them now. Alright, so I've scanned all the hard drives, and I've scanned so many that I've also broke the map. If I'm trying to scroll, it just doesn't. So we did get one of the two that we needed. We need this alternate diluted packaged fuel, so we'll select that one. And if we look at the other ones, we need to rescan quite a few of them. So starting with this one. Actually, we'll do the ones that we probably won't use. So we probably won't use any of these, so we'll rescan this. Right, okay, that's a good recipe, but yeah. I like both of these. We'll rescan this one. No. Right, rescan this one. That's alright, but no. Rescan this. That was just the one that we just got. Rescan this. Please. Please. No. No, please. I want to go more hard drive hunting. Is that... Oh no. No, we have to go more hard drive hunting. It's just one recipe, it's just one recipe. I've also been messing around with rails and stuff over here, trying to figure out a design. Basically I'm just figuring out whether I want to use blueprints for this, which makes it 10 times easier, or not, because basically I do want to have very smooth curves, and now this curve is like curves 1 per foundation, whereas this curve curves 2 per foundation, so this is a much smoother curve. But it also misaligns with the world grid, as you can see here, which is kind of annoying because like this is on the world grid, and where it started is also on the world grid, but it's no longer aligned to said world grid, so it's also that issue. Alright, we have finally got it. I've been rescanning the hard drives because I've been getting annoyed, but we've finally got the final recipe that we need. I was just messing around with curves because I do want nice curved tracks. Although we do have the first prototype design here. Very nice. Fairly simple. This is just concrete foundations, but you can apply the carbon steel finish to it, and just makes it look very nice. And then we got these signs, and basically what you do is you select this secondary colour to whatever you want, sets its glossy, and then emission strength 3, and you basically got a light. And just some metal pillars, and the tracks fit nicely in here. But yeah, that's proof of concept. So what I did is I laid out a few signs to show what we'll do. So we'll start off with 450 crude oil per minute, and then turn that with that heavy oil residue recipe that we just got into 600 heavy oil residue, which is what we want. And then this is sort of a byproduct. We do need it, a bit of it later, but for now, this 600 combines with 1200 watts per minute to make 1200 package fuel per minute. Is a bit complex, but I'll explain that later. And then that 1200 fuel per minute combines with 800 compacted coal, which is just 800 of coal and sulfur combined together to make 1000 turbo fuel per minute. And then here, 990 of it will go for power, which I believe, if we work it out, is 132 generators, producing a grand total of 33,000 megawatts. And then we get 10 packaged turbo fuel per minute, and we can use that for, you know, our jetpack, which will be cool. And then here's the polymer resin that I was talking about, so we just need 15 per minute to make 5 plastic, and then 10 canisters, and that will feed this. But yeah, it's somewhat simple, but we do need trains to get our sulfur, because where I plan on at least assembling the turbo fuel is somewhere around here, because there's like 4 normal coal nodes around here, and then we could just pipe the turbo fuel up out to this estuary and then build the power plant in this ocean up here. In terms of sulfur, there is some around here. There's like one down there and then one there. There's a node somewhere over here, and that's not enough. I think we'll need to grab another node from either down here or somewhere over here. Well, actually, yeah, this might be a better idea. Grab it from over here, then the train makes a stop here, and then comes to here, and then we just belt the node that's somewhere around here to there as well. I don't know, but whatever happens, we will need a train design, so at this point it'll just sort of be making that is my next goal. Alright, it's been a bit of a jump now, so I've built out this pad and I've set up the entire train network. Obviously this isn't for the world, but this is just for the sulfur. So we have 6 carts, each in theory bringing in 100 sulfur per minute into these 6 train platforms. So we'll watch it unload. So yeah, that means that we have 600 sulfur per minute from here, and if we look at the map, I believe, actually, let's scan for sulfur quickly. I believe there is a node somewhere around here, which we can belt over. So yeah, we got these 2 nodes at that station. There's another station over there with another node. But yeah, we'll get this final node. That might actually have to be trained over. Not sure. Yeah, it's 1 kilometer away. But yeah, so we have 900 sulfur, but we only need 800, so with the spare 100, we could just build a small weapons factory, and we can make, obviously, nobelisks, and also some rifle ammo, because that would be very nice to have a gun instead of having to melee every single mob. But yeah, so I'll currently, with the rail network, what I did is I just made some junctions in some, like, key points. So like that's a junction there, but I haven't finished it, and there's a few more junctions all the way up there. And I haven't done the pillar, like these main pillars, but this is sort of the pillar design. Looks really cool. Next episode we'll deal with all of that. I did decorate the train stations a tiny bit, but what I'll do now is I'll bring over the other 300 sulfur, and then we'll make all the compacted coal and the other stuff that we need. And then we'll go from there. I also left this copper node here because I think we need copper for the rifle ammo. I mean, if we don't, we've still got a copper node here for something, but yeah. We'll get on to the next stage of our turbo fuel production. Alright, so I made all of the compacted coal now. We are producing 800 per minute, and 400 is going into each of these lines, and they go into the 32 refineries. So what I did is I made a blueprint of sets of 4, and then, you know, it's 8 there, and another 8 there, and then we got 64 refineries in total. And that will make us our 1000 turbo fuel per minute. So the clock speed, I did mess around with it, it's a bit weird. So we're at 83.3 recurring percent, and that basically means that each refinery consumes 12.5 compacted coal, 18.75 fuel, and then makes 15.625. Now these numbers, they look a bit weird, right? However, we have 32 of them, so let's say the compacted coal, 12.5 multiplied by 32, that's 400. Next, the fuel, 18.75 multiplied by 32, 600 fuel. So the fuel line under here, that will be a full line, and then same for this side. And finally, the turbo fuel, 15.625 multiplied by 32 is 500. So these are two 500 lines of turbo fuel. So although the numbers look a bit wonky per refinery, once you've got 32 of them, the numbers actually work out pretty nicely. And if you didn't know, you not only can you set recipes in blueprints, but you also like remember the clock speed, which is very nice. I did have to move this power tower up because it was sort of clipping into the refineries, which was a bit annoying. But yeah, so we had to expand out this way a bit, and what I'm gonna do is we need to process the oil next. So we'll get oil from somewhere over there, and then we'll pipe it through, and we'll probably set up an oil production here, making fuel, and maybe a packaging plant here, and then, I don't know, heavy oil residue there, fuel production here, and then we send the fuel over here, and then packaging and unpackaging with water extraction over there, and then we can send the turbo fuel out the estuary. And if we look on the map, there's plenty of space up here which we can build all of the power plants, because we are producing 1000 turbo fuel per minute. We're gonna have 10 kept as packaged fuel, so it's 990 turbo fuel per minute. Each fuel generator burns 7.5 turbo fuel per minute, then that's 132 fuel generators, producing us a grand total of 250 megawatts. Wait, no, not 250. 33,000. No, yeah, 33,000 megawatts, or 33 gigawatts, if you like. Currently, the power production is sort of insane. Yeah, we're getting very close to our capacity here. We should be alright. Should. Obviously we have the batteries, and you know, it's only chugging away because I'd set up these, but what I could do is I could turn off the steel plant, because in terms of steel we have a lot for now. Also, we just belted over the 300, yeah, you don't want to have a look at the belt, it's a bit whack. And then we got all the coal from here, and then here's just 100 spare coal, 100 spare sulfur, currently just putting it in the awesome sink, because, you know, we don't need it right now. And then it heads over to here, got storage containers for all of the stuff, and yeah. So what I'll do now is I will set up the heavy oil residue production line. Alright, so I brought the oil from somewhere over there, and now it just comes along this line, and then into the heavy oil residue. So we have all of the refineries here, and that's taking the 450 crude and turning it into 600 heavy oil residue. And then over here we just have a bunch of water packages with water extractors over there, and then a lot of belt work. But the heavy oil residue is down here, and it comes along this pipe and goes all the way to the fuel things. I just got a bit carried away. So it comes this way into here, and then combines with the packaged water coming from over there into each of these, and you know, 60 per minute, right? And then the packaged fuel pops out here and then goes into these unpackers where we got the 2 fuel lines, and then empty canisters which go back over there to be recycled in the system, because, you know, efficiency. I don't want to sink the stuff. don't even want to know how much plastic that will take. But then the fuel lines come over here, and then combine with the compacted coal to make the turbo fuel, and currently just the output of 1,000 total, 500 in each pipe, goes into these industrial fluid buffers. So we have 4,800 meters cubed of turbo fuel storage. Now, what I've done is I've turned off a few factories, so the consumption is relatively low, and we can now, what I've done is I've added in mergers with some industrial storage containers into each of these lines, and then I've got a little constructor over here, fully overclocked, you know, 300 canisters per minute, summer's loop in there, and we can put in all of this plastic, and it will now produce 300 empty canisters per minute, which will empty into this system, like that, and evenly split between all of them. So, as the system begins to power on, we'll get packaged water first. Like, quite a lot of the other stuff is already backed up, but we're beginning to get a tiny bit of packaged water, which then flows all the way down these conveyor belts, and then scoots up and into these refineries, where they will start producing packaged fuel. And then coming out here, the packaged fuel makes their way into the unpackers, where something happens. I don't know where they're being unpacked. Why do you need two fuel? I'm not going to question it. But yeah, where they're going to be unpacked. And then the empty canisters move on down this way, back to the 8-liner belts, which is pretty insane. And then back to be recycled over here. So what I'll do is I'll just come back to you once the system has, you know, worked itself up a tiny bit, got saturated, if you will, which could take a while. Currently the power graph is steadily climbing, but we're still in the clear, and you know, obviously the turbo fuel will back up after a bit, so like we don't have to worry about it too much. But I will start working on some blueprints to hopefully make the production, well, the construction of all of the power plants all the way over there a lot easier, but I'll come back once the system is fully operational. Alright, the system is now fully saturated, so we've got all of the water, the canisters, all the empty canisters and stuff, and you know, I'll let it run for a bit, so all of these industrial fluid buffers, they're all full. If you look in here, that's all full, and then it's also doing a bit of the pipe spaghetti, and we got two 500 pipes. Well, no, these are two 495 pipes, and then 495 divided by 7.5 is 66 generators. So then that's just 33 blueprints, because each blueprint that I made here is just like 2 generators together with a bit of pipe work already done, so you know, it's much easier to do it. And then obviously here, just 10 package fuel per minute. I brought over the polymer resin. You know, this refinery is chugging away, making 5 plastic per minute, and then you're making 10 empty canisters per minute from that 5 plastic. So you know this works. And then it goes over here, does the water extractor, goes over here, and into the storage container. But yeah, now I will set out a massive pad and build the fuel generators out in, like, out of the ocean, past the estuary. Alright, so the pipe has now been extended and it goes out all the way to over there, where I built the entire fuel power plant. Right, so we got 132 fuel generators, which is a lot. And, you know, as I said many times now, we're going to be producing 33,000 megawatts, so we can simply connect up these 2 turbo fuel pipes, and then in comes the fluid. And in theory, yep, these guys are turning on, and we're already climbing super high with this production. And at what point do we pass our coal power plant? And we passed our coal power plant. Yeah, that's just insane. Right. Let's connect up the power so then the batteries aren't going to be draining. I mean, obviously it doesn't really matter because the batteries have a lot of stored power, so it doesn't really matter. Or stored energy, technically. Power, you can't store it. Power is energy transferred per unit time. But whatever, I like physics. So we can connect this power line up to somewhere over here. I'm not sure, I'll probably rejig the power network at some point, but for now we can just connect it very simply like this. Go around the corner. Yeah, if we connect it up to here. Let's remove that. You can go to here. Like so. Remove that, place that, and then like that. There we go. Ah yes. The production jumps all the way up to 14,000. So we should have in total, so that's 33,000 from the fuel power plant and then 4,200 from the coal power plant, so we should have in total 37,200 megawatts of power. And currently we're fluctuating at about 16,000 megawatts, although with the way that sets up the pipes it's probably going to take a while for stuff like that to set up, although we do have a fair amount of turbo fuel in reserve, so it is being sent out pretty fast. Like, you know, this is meant to be 495, but it's probably 600-ish, yeah, 600 fuel per minute streaming down each of these pipes, so 1,200 versus 990. So, you know, it should fill up fairly fast. If not, what we can always do is we can always like turn off a few of these power plants, so then, you know, the fuel sort of moves down and then fills up everything, and then, you know, we can move it back onto regular operations. But yeah, we'll just be waiting for quite a bit for all of these power plants to fill up, and you know, because the power graph is already up here, it's not really going to be that eventful. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably just start decorating the place, and then, you know, we'll come back once the fuel power plants are fully operational. Alright, so the fuel generators are pretty much fully operational now, and I've done a bit of decoration. Right, so we're in the central control room, so what I've done is I've had these power poles, they come in, and then over to here in a separate grid, and then here, this is the one that connects the generators, so if I disconnect this, we got batteries, so it's fine. If I disconnect this, you know, generators are on their own grid, production 33,000 megawatts. Very nice. Let's reconnect the grid before we kill all the batteries. Right, now, coming out of this one goes up and then around and then down to these three, and also the lights to in here, because, you know, this is a very important line. We need to be able to see the stuff. So we got facility power, which is the power for just this power plant, and a few of the extractors, I think. Oh, I just realised. Yeah, I need to disconnect some lines going that way, because the sulfur node over there is currently being powered by grid power, but that's fine. Right, we've got main grid power, which goes out to that, and then off to the main grid, and also that way, because I have a small quartz set up over here, just because I needed some quartz to make like the windows and the lights and stuff. And then rail network power, so this is one of the ones that we want to keep on pretty much all the time, so that just sort of goes down and then along the side and then up to that train station, which is connected to the rail network. And the way that I want to use the rail network as a power grid is sort of only extraction will be connected to the rail network, entire factories will be connected to the main grid, and then they will have an independent switch somewhere within the factory where we can turn them on and off. And then just the light control panel over here. In terms of the other decoration, I mean, I didn't really do too much of the tower. It looks alright. I'm still not the best builder. But we do have some nice little walkways going around. You know, all is cool. All this is working. I did have to add in like a second set of pipes for some of these because the flow rate was just really weird. And like some of the refineries down there keep on turning off because there's too much turbo fuel in them, which I find a bit weird. Because like we should in theory be consuming the exact amount that we're producing, but then also this is struggling to get turbo fuel, so I think it's just slowly filling up the pipes. But the power is consistent now. It was fluctuating a tiny bit earlier, but it's now very consistent, you know, which was the main issue. And over there we have space for the munitions factory, although I did realise smokeless powder requires heavy oil residue. So we will need to bring some oil over, and it actually doesn't require any other oil products, just some heavy oil residue. But over here, I decided to make a nice substation, so you can't actually connect like wires like that, so these wires aren't actually connected to anything, whereas this wire just sort of goes down under and then connects it somewhere over here. But I just tried to make it look like a substation, you know, they come down some transformer to power switches, which will pretty much always be on, then some more transformers and stuff, and then they just connect it over here, where everything is running. Yeah, it's really cool, and then with the walls I just sort of built two down that technically don't go all the way down, but whatever, you can't, like if you look at that you can't really tell me that that's like touching the floor or not. But yeah, generally speaking, this power plant is pretty good. So what I will do is I will just crunch the numbers with the munitions, because with 100 sulfur and 100 coal you actually do make quite a lot, and I don't want to make that much, especially because like this isn't really making that much. So what I might do is something like 60 nobelisks per minute, and then however many rifle ammo I can make per minute, unless I find something else to do with this sulfur and coal, which I don't, there might be something, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'll set that up now, and we can bring some oil over from, you know, over there. I don't know if I'll fully utilize the node. I might not fully utilize the node, and then we will build like a factory for oil products, probably at the Golden Coast because it's closer, and then just reserve this for later game oil and obviously this power plant. Alright, for this factory we do quickly need to unlock industrial manufacturing to grab the manufacturer, but there we go.
Milestone reached. Manufacturers can receive up to 4 inputs for the production of complex parts, such as computers and heavy modular frames, but most importantly the 2 new project parts. The modular engine and adaptive control unit are essential for the development of Phase 3 of Project Assembly. You are making good progress. The future is starting to look bright.
Sure thing, Ada. Well, the future will look explosive based on what I'm going to use this manufacturer for initially. So yeah, we do need to do a tiny bit of map research, but you know, I'll do that whilst building the factory, and then you know I'll come back to you once I've got it all set up, because I've pretty much got everything that I need now. Alright, so the weapons factory has been completed now. It was much bigger than I expected it to be. So you know, we just started off over here making the this, what's it called, black powder I think, yeah, making the black powder, and then we also brought, you know, 37.5 oil per minute from like all the way over there to come into these refineries, make heavy oil residue, and then over here we're making smokeless powder, and then the smokeless powder just sort of comes along and overflows into these manufacturers, creating the one of the products, and then goes down here to create more products and stuff, and yeah, there's a whole host of stuff. However, the first thing that we made is this rifle ammo. So how does it work? Well, you get a rifle, you load it up with ammo, and then you shoot whatever you want, you know, really simple. It does a fair amount of damage. It's pretty good against them crab hatches, them crabfly hatches, and the stacks of 500, and you know you have 15 per ammo clip. item number 2 is explosive rebar. This is personally my favourite one so far. So basically the rebar gun usually shoots rebar, but this one explodes on impact. So this does an insane amount of damage, but it can also be used to break rocks and things, and even like plants and stuff. So it is pretty useful for clearing out things, and like it's a faster Nobelisk if you want to clear out something. And speaking of, the next item is actually Nobelisks. So what we can do is we grab that, and then if you click R, you get given a scroll wheel. So first off, regular Nobelisks, and these are just essentially throwable bombs. So you can throw them down. I don't think there's a limit to how many you can place down, but then right click and they explode. And then the next and final item is the cluster Nobelisk, and these are pretty much the same as regular Nobelisks. However, when I right click, you can see that it sort of spreads out. So this is very good for clearing out an area. So let's say down here where there's quite a few bushes. There you go, you can clear out that area pretty fast. So this weapons factory is very useful. I did do a bit of exploring. We got 3 summers loops, 24 mercer spheres, a bunch of alien corpses, another hard drive, and then a fair amount of power slugs. So yeah, I'll just get them all duplicated up using, you know, summers loops. We might do a tiny bit of map research, although that'll probably be in the next episode. However though, that'll do it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I plan on expanding the rail network to go all the way across the entire map, so then we can collect every single resource that we'll ever need.